A Smart, Smart School by Sharon Creech. Pictures by Anait Semirdzhyan. I don't know if I read that right. At the beginning and the end of each day, the principal, Mr. Keene, rang the school bell. Tilly, who was the first student to arrive and last to leave, often helped him. Mr. Keene loved his fine, fine school. He loved to stroll up and down the halls looking at the fine, fine students and the fine, fine teachers. He loved to watch the students drawing and painting and reading and singing. He felt so proud to be their principal that some days he thought his buttons would burst. But one day, something else burst. His appendix. Poor Mr. Keene, away to the hospital he went. Tilly was worried. Would Mr. Keene get better? A new principal arrived. His name was Mr. Tatters, and he was a serious man. He did not smile. He did not laugh. He marched up and down the halls, glaring at the students and the teachers. He stomped into one room where Tilly was sitting nearest the door. "What's that you're doing?" Mr. Tatters demanded. "We're making get-well cards," Tilly said, "for Mr. Keene." "Come with me," Mr. Tatters said. He led Tilly to another room. "And what is going on there?" he asked. "They're making a banner for Mr. Keene," Tilly said. A get-well banner." Mr. Tatters marched up and down the halls with Tilly at his side. They saw children making cards and banners and posters and paper flowers. In the last room, children were scribbling on the board. "There," he said. "What is going on there?" Tilly said, "They're writing a song for Mr. Keene, a get-well song. It's nearly done. Would you like to hear it?" No, I would not," Mr. Tatters said. The next day, as all the children were in their classrooms working on their cards and banners and posters and flowers and songs, Mr. Tatters made an announcement. "This is a school," he said, "and in order to be a smart, smart school, we should be taking tests." Uh-oh, Tilly thought. "We will have lots and lots of tests," Mr. Tatters said. The students and the teachers were worried. "And we will not be making any more cards and banners and posters and flowers and songs. When we return on Monday, we will be taking important tests. This will be a smart, smart school." And so, on Monday, the students took tests all day long. And on Tuesday, they took tests all day long. It says, "The harder I work, the smarter I get." At home, Tilly's dog Beans pulled at her shoelaces. Her little brother tugged at her sleeve. "Aren't you going to play with us?" he said. "I can't," Tilly said. "I have to study for these tests. I have 1,000,000 tests." On Wednesday and Thursday, Tilly and her friends took tests all day long. One of Tilly's teachers said, "I can't think of any more questions to ask." And another said, "I can't grade another test." Tilly said, "I have no more answers." At home, Beans lay at Tilly's feet. "My brain is empty, empty, empty," Tilly said. Her little brother handed her an orange. "Hurry your brain," he said. On Friday, Tilly and her friends took tests all day long, and at the end of the day, the students and the teachers limped home. But on Saturday, they all went to the hospital. Inside, Tilly spoke with a nurse. "I say," said the nurse, "tell them to stand over there on the grass." When the students and teachers saw the nurse and Mr. Keene at a window, they held up their cards and banners and posters and flowers, and they sang their song. Mr. Keene, please get well. Please come back and ring the bell. Mr. Keene, please get well. We miss you tons, 'cause you're so swell. They sang their song loudly and proudly. They waved their cards and banners and posters and flowers. And Mr. Keene left the window. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes. The students and the teachers felt sad, sad, sad. I guess we'd better go home now, Tilly said. But then the door of the hospital opened, and out came the nurse, pushing a wheelchair, and in the wheelchair was Mr. Keene in his white hospital gown with a yellow blanket over his knees. Tilly wheeled him around so that he could examine the cards and banners and posters and flowers. Mr. Keene smiled and smiled. On Monday, Mr. Keene returned to his school. He helped Mr. Tatters pack up his papers. "Bye-bye," he said. And after Mr. Tatters left, Mr. Keene made an announcement. "I have been studying all the tests you have taken, and I am extremely concerned." Uh-oh, Tilly thought. These tests definitely show that something is missing. The students and the teachers were worried. Tilly went to Mr. Keene's office. "Mr. Keene," she said, "our brains are empty."
Empty. But that beautiful song, those posters and flowers, didn't those come from your brains?"
"That was before the tests," Tilly said.
"Aha,"
Mr. Keene said. "I see." That afternoon, Mr. Keene made an announcement. "I have discovered what is missing from your tests," he said. Uh-oh, Tilly thought. "There are no drawings, no beautiful colors, no little poems. These tests do not sing to me," Mr. Keene said. "And so tomorrow and all week we will have one more big test." Groans filled the room. "We will have a test to see if we can go one whole week without a test." A huge, enormous cheer went up throughout the school. "And," Mr. Keene added, "we will only be able to draw and sing and dance and write poems this week." Another huge, enormous cheer went up throughout the school and sailed out the windows and into the air. Smart, smart, smart. That week, Mr. Keene went around to all the classes and watched the students drawing and painting and writing poems and singing. He gave each student a button, a smart, smart student. And he gave each teacher a button, a smart, smart teacher. So, of course, the students made a huge, colorful banner, which they hung on Mr. Keene's office door. A smart, smart principal. All that week, the students painted and drew and sang, and they did not take any tests. Not one single one. "Someday," Mr. Keene said, "we will take a test or two. Someday. But not this day." If you passed that school even now, you might see Mr. Keene ringing the bell, and you might also see a beautifully painted banner out front. A smart, smart school, and beneath it another banner with smart, smart students and smart, smart teachers and a smart, smart principal, too. Good night. I love you.